All right, traders, this is the second day in a row you could have bought the SPY at the low of day using the gap close reversal strategy. Within this video, I'm going to walk you through the trading strategy. I'm going to show you how to trade the best setups at the best prices. I'm going to recap some of the trades that were made today. In terms of my trades, I started off with 2 trades going break even, and then I had 3 wins, all back-to-back 50% gainers in power hour call options only. With that being said, I'm going to show you how to trade the best setups at the best prices. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with the strategy and with the price action analysis and with the recap of the SPY. Then towards the end, we're going to be going into tomorrow's game trading plan. With that being said, guys, if you ended up losing money on put options today, it is well deserved. And the reason why I say that is I gave you guys all the information you needed to know in Friday's video. I'm going to link Friday's video down below. Make sure you watch that because as you know, if the SPY gaps up like it did on Friday, like it did today, and it forms a floor and it forms a support level at the gap, it's going to start to reverse. And as you know, if you watch that video, I said the main thing you could take away from that video is when you see the SPY or a stock that gaps up and then it fills the gap that's waiting to fill below and it's forming a floor, it's reacting as support, it's breaking above this resistance right here, forming higher support, starting to break out, do not do puts. The overall trend is going to try to remain within the side of the gap close reversal, which is a bullish reversal. With that being said, all of the confirmations were there in terms of the morning. Here's your confirmations to start buying calls. Okay, so it gapped up. It's trying to remain bullish. It's forming a floor. It's forming support just like it did on Friday. Same exact pattern. It's forming higher support. It breaks above this resistance right here, forming higher support. There's your confirmation to start buying calls right here in the 3960 50s if you're not buying at the exact low where the gap is. With that being said, there was also very, very strong confirmations on not only the 1-minute chart, but on the 30-minute chart. This was a 30-minute pattern that you could have used if you wanted to, where you were to buy higher. And this is why I didn't buy puts at 398, because as you know, if SPY's having a gap close reversal, I'm not buying puts. I advised against puts the entire day. And there was a 30-minute bullish pattern right here, this bullish hammer wick at the gap. When this candle closes like this, the SPY is going to continue to rip. So with that being said, if you watched Friday's video and you took in that information, also along with yesterday's video, which is very helpful as well, and you decided to play puts and you lost money, it is well deserved. The strategy worked back to back. Now you're probably wondering, so in terms of my trades, I played calls 5 times today. 2 of them were break-even trades. I was down initially like 15, 20%. I held a little bit longer. It came back to my initial entry. I got out. I sold perfectly for break-even twice. Then I hit 3 winners, back-to-back-to-back, 50% gainers, all in power hour. I'm going to be explaining those towards the end of this video. But you're probably wondering, Will, why didn't you buy the calls at the market open like you did on Friday? Why didn't you get in at the best price possible for the day? So the reason why I decided to not buy calls at the gap today, yes, there was bullish confirmations. Yes, there was a floor. Yes, the confirmations were there. I decided not to do it at that specific level because I did not like the level. Let me show you an example. Right here, this is the same level, very, very close. As you can see, SPY gapped up. This is from last week. As soon as it filled the gap, it ended up not having a reversal, and it formed a very bearish confirmation. So it did not have a gap close reversal. However, there was bearish confirmations. This is a bearish wick. These are lower highs, all confirmations to not play for the gap close reversal and to then short the SPY because it's forming a roof instead of a floor. That was the main reason, because it was at key resistance in the top end of the channel. So in terms of my strategy, it's more than just trading for the day. Like I said, it's the best setups at the best prices. As you know, the gap close reversals is the best setup. It is the best trading strategy. But if it's not at the best price and we're buying calls towards the higher end of the top channel where this recently sold off massively hard, I'm not trying to chase and predict that the top of the resistance is going to start to break out. That That's why I decided to not buy calls in the morning. With that being said, this is going to kind of contradict on what I'm saying right now. I decided to buy calls during power hour much later. And you're probably wondering, well, why did you decide to do that? The reason why I decided to do that is because, number one, I told people this is not the best setup at the best price. We had people banking all day, not trading the best setups at the best prices. They're following the trends. They're using the gap close reversal strategy. So the gap close reversal strategy, it is the best strategy, but it wasn't at the best prices. But the trend was dips on calls were printing. So I analyzed the trend for the entire day and I did nothing. I waited until the chart developed. I told myself, if I'm going to trade, not the best setup, if I'm going to trade the best setup but not at the best prices, I'm going to wait for very strong confirmations. I'm going to wait for the chart to develop and for the patterns to really start to confirm themselves instead of just jumping in towards market open. With that being said, when I'm doing that and when I'm not trading the best setups at the best prices, I like to wait until the market closes. And again, this is something that I wouldn't recommend for anyone to do unless you're already successful with the strategy, you're already getting results, and you've already changed your life, and you're already living off of trading, and you want to kind of expand more in terms of your trading strategies. But I did decide to buy calls, and I went with a 400. This was the best one. I bought a $400 out of money call when SPY was at 399.62 for 20 cents. The low was at 18 cents. I literally bought it right here. And I sold those calls for nearly 40 cents. It was almost 100% win. Those calls then went to $1. It could have been a 400% return. It was absolutely insane. The reason why I did that is because the trend for the entire day was to buy calls at the dip. And SPY ended up hitting key support at 399 with a very bullish wick confirmation. See the bullish wick confirmation, whenever it forms this bullish wick confirmation in terms of today, it tends to bottom and it tends to spike. It tends to bottom, it tends to spike. I bought calls here as well. I bought calls right here towards the lows as well. In terms of other bullish confirmations, not only was the trend bullish and the dips on calls were printing, but right here, I was looking at the 30-minute chart. You had a very bullish wick coming in at some key support. Look at this wick right here, and then look at this wick right here. See how these candlesticks are nearly identical? What happens? SPY trends up for an hour and 30 minutes straight. SPY trends up for an hour straight after that, right into the close. That was the reason, these bottom wicks, and it's more oversold. If the same pattern is forming right here, where it has this top wick and it starts to downtrend for the next two 30-minute candlesticks, where it has this top wick and it starts to downtrend for the next 30-minute candlesticks, if it's going to form this bullish looking wick at lower support right here towards a key level, then yeah, I'm going to look to scalp calls. But again, not the best setups at the best prices. So sometimes I will be willing to enter trades if they're not the best setups at the best prices. It's a very quick scalp where I stay in for 5 to 15 minutes. It's not the best thing to be doing, but in terms of my success, it came from the gap strategies and it came from gap close reversals. That's the best setup at the best price. When you get to a certain level, not that you have to, because all you have to do is compound one thing that works, which is the gap trading strategy. If you want to, you can start to branch out and experiment with more trading strategies. So in a sense, what I'm doing is I'm analyzing the overall trend, bullish gap close reversal. Whenever a stock is having a gap close reversal, you never play the opposite side of the reversal. If SPY gaps up and forms a floor, you do not buy puts. Like I told you guys in Friday's video, I'm telling you, if you lost money on puts today, it is very well deserved, because in that video I stated, if there's one thing you could take away from this video, is to never bet against gap close reversals. Because when a stock has a gap close reversal, the entire overall trend for the day is going to try to remain in the favor of that gap close reversal. It's literally a strategy that sets the new trend. Look at this, man. We're setting the new trend. And don't try to make money betting against the new trend. You're going to have very, very small wins and very, very big losses if you don't get out quickly. And it's not the best and easiest way to make the money. SPY gaps up. It's at key support. It fills the gap. Bullish 5-minute candle, bullish floor. Boom. Bought the calls, banked, right? SPY gaps up, forms a bullish floor, bullish candlestick. Same pattern as Friday. It uptrends the whole day. So if it has a massive pullback into the power hour, and I'm seeing very strong confirmations in terms of price action. So, Will, what are the confirmations that you're seeing? Like we just went over. it was forming the same pattern. See the bottom wick at the gap, see the bottom wick at the gap, closes strong at the highs, starts to close strong at the highs. So during power hour, it's likely going to try to pump back up if it sells off right before. And it had a massive crash from 402.65 to 399. That was my opportunity to buy the calls when this was at 399 because it was extremely oversold. The trend was bullish. Power hour is a key time where SPY spikes. This is why right here in this zone right here at the lows, I was loading on 399 calls because I know they're going to try to pump this for power hour. And then as you can see, as soon as that 3 p.m. time period starts to hit, it starts to pump. And then I got back in on calls right here before it spiked massively. I did it twice on these dips because this previous resistance at 399.58 was reacting as support, bullish pins. Trend reversal pins. Remember this trend reversal candlestick? Trend reversal candlesticks, bullish pins, bullish pins. It keeps breaking out and it's turning the previous resistance into higher support. Therefore, it's going to start to break out. Another reason why I played those calls, it was actually a gap strategy. There was a gap to fill right here on the SPY. Take a look. The closing price of this 1 minute candle is at $400.05. Right here, the opening is $400.04. There's 1 cent of gap waiting to fill. So that's going to be a key entry to play for the gap to fill. So in a sense, I was buying the dip at very, very key support. Look at this key support at 399, where SPY had a massive move for new highs. It was very strong key support. We were towards power hour. It was micro oversold. The overall trend was bullish. It was the first time it retested 399 for the day, the initial reaction. You had the bullish pin, most bullish candlestick right before it starts to blast off. I was adding into that bullish candlestick right before it started to blast off. You had previous resistance react as a new floor, previous resistance react as a new floor, see the resistance, now it breaks out, new floor, see the resistance, then it breaks out, new floor, right? All bullish confirmations along with the 30-minute chart. Do you see how I'm stacking everything? That's what I do. And if you want to stack a lot of things in your favor, then you're going to need to wait. You're going to need to wait for the chart to develop. You see how long I waited? I didn't play calls on any of these. I told people do not play puts for the entire day. I didn't play calls for any of these candlesticks. I waited for something very, very solid to develop. I told people, and I made it very, very clearly, the opportunity for today, if you're not trying to trade the best setup at the best prices, that already played at the gap. It was the best setup, but it was not at the best price. In terms of today, yes, it was at today's best price. But in terms of the daily chart, it was at the top of the channel. I'm not trying to predict massive breakouts. I'd much rather just have a massive breakout and then wait for it to come back down to support when the trend, everything's already confirmed with patterns, then buy the dip. I told people very, very clearly in the chat, the opportunity for the day is going to be buying calls on a big dip. So the best case scenario to buy calls on a big dip is if the SPY is a massive sell-off right before power hour, and then you know they're going to start to pump it back up during power hour. And again, the 30-minute chart. So just take a look. You have this wick right here. You have this wick right here, right? Next candle, it doesn't do much. Next candle, it starts to sell off. Next candle, you have this red bullish wick, and it pumps back up for an hour and 30 minutes straight, right? You see that? Next candle, you have this red bullish wick, and then what does it do? It pumps back up for the next hour. See how I combined everything it is that I showed you? I combined the trend, I combined the gap close reversal, I combined the strong key support that led to a massive breakout at 399. I combined the dips are printing, so if we have a massive dip towards power hour key time, it's going to spike. I combined the bullish candlesticks on the 1 minute chart, on the 5 minute chart. I combine the it's okay to buy a little bit higher for a re-entry because previous resistance is breaking out and it's forming a new floor, bullish pins goes higher, new breakout, new floor, bullish pins goes higher, right? Wouldn't it make sense for the bulls to want to pump this back when puts just printed like crazy from nearly 403 to 399, extremely oversold with the best bottom wick confirmation on the 1 minute and the best bottom wick confirmations on the 30 minute? So that's what I'm doing in a sense. It's called trend stacking. And if you wait for the chart to develop and you skip the morning and you literally just trade towards the end of the day, you will have a very strong foundation of what the trend is, and you'll be able to take advantage of moves like these, where the trend is overall bullish. So if SPY is going to have a massive sell-off and form all of the bullish confirmations at that key 399, that led to this massive new high of day breakout, right? It's going to be a great dip buying opportunity for power hour calls. You do not buy puts at support on a bullish gap close reversal day? You tell me, look at the 30-minute chart. What is the worst thing you could have done today? Buy puts at support. Trading against the gap close reversal strategy and buying puts at support. So if I'm seeing strong bullish confirmations after a massive micro sell-off from 402.65 to 399 at key support, and it's aligned with power hour, as you know, if SPY's at key support on a bullish day towards 3 p.m., it's going to want to spike with that volume that's coming in. See the volume that's spiking in, right? See the volume that's spiking in, then it starts to spike, right? You better believe I'd much rather be in calls than puts, because puts are against the trend. And the worst way to trade against the trend is to get the worst entry. And the worst entry, as the chart shows you, is at support. And it's not just that mentality, but it's understanding. Bullish confirmations on the 1 minute, bullish confirmations on the 5 minute, bullish confirmations on the 30 minute, everything aligned. The timing was spot on. Think about it. SPY just got crushed. Puts printed like crazy in this hour and 30 minutes from the top, right? They went up like 5x. Well, guess what? Power hour is around the corner and we got 1 hour left and the overall trend's bullish and puts just printed like crazy. Do you really think buying puts at support on a bullish gap close reversal day when they just printed like nuts in an hour and a half with power hour around the corner with strong volume and all the bullish confirmations triggering is the right thing to be focusing on? Absolutely fucking not. That's why I was hitting calls heavy, man. So in a sense, that's not the best setup at the best price. So then what is it? It's price action. What I did was I traded price action. The good thing about the price action that I was trading was it was a gap close reversal. It was a gap close reversal, just at a much higher price. I waited for the trend and patterns to develop. And my plan was, like I told my team earlier, once we identified this was a bullish gap close reversal, I just told them, I'm just going to wait for a massive pullback. And I killed it. I played calls 3 times, back to back. 50% wins on these dips right here, 3 times, right here, right here, right here, 3 times, 50% wins back to back. Before that, I tried calls at 400. It didn't work out. So guess what? I sold for break even. It went against me very, very quickly. And then it spiked right back up to my initial entry and I got out. It didn't work. And then I analyzed, oh yeah, another reason why I bought the calls was this gap. There was a gap to fill at 400. So look, man, look at everything I've stacked. Let's just quickly recap everything that I've stacked. Gap close reversal, we know to not fight the trend, so we're going to want to focus on calls, and we're going to want to focus on calls, not at breakouts, on a massive dip buying opportunity when the puts exploded and printed like crazy. Best time for that to occur would be right before power hour when calls are extremely oversold and beaten down while puts just went up 5x. Right, so this is the mentality. 3 p.m. power hour spike, bullish confirmations right here on the 1 minute consolidating right before power hour, right? What are some other confirmations? There's a gap. There's a gap to fill at $400.05. What are some other confirmations? This was the first time it retested that key support that led to that massive breakout move right here at this $399 level where it was consolidating for quite some time. Then it had a massive breakout. Boom. History tends to repeat itself. What were more confirmations? Previous resistance right here on the 5 minute, also on the 1 minute, is now turning into a floor. Do you see that? Look at the 5 minute chart. See how this is resistance? It breaks out, pulls back, bullish wick, starts to break out higher. $400 out of money calls go from 20 cents to $1.03, 400% plus return. What were more confirmations? The 30-minute chart. So do you see that? That's how it works. That's how my brain works in a sense. I'm stacking every single thing I can do in my favor of the trend, right? And that's why it made sense for me to play calls 3 times in a row for 50% wins, older than real time. Within the Discord. That's why it made a lot of sense to me. So I hope that can help you a lot in terms of analyzing, right? I'm not telling you to trade these setups because they're not the best setups at the best prices. But what you can do is you can combine what I'm teaching you with this price action for the trades you do enter at the best setups at the best prices. You can combine these patterns and what I'm stacking to use confirmation to get in on that trade. Like this was a very nice confirmation right here in the 30 minute that SPY was going to continue to go up because it filled the gap and had a very bullish pin. Just like it did, on Friday. You had a nice bullish pin, continue to go higher. You had a nice bullish pin, continue to go higher. Nice bullish pin, continue to go higher, right? So you get the point, you get where I'm coming at, right? So that's what I kind of wanted to recap in a sense. If you do want to be a part of Trader Society and trade live with us every single time, now is the best time to be joining. I would also really encourage you to watch Friday's video as well. But that's the first link down below in the description if you do want to join us and trade live with us every single day. Now, in terms of my updates for the SPY, This is a very interesting level. So I was looking at the macro, and the macro is really trying to flip bullish. This is what I want to bring awareness to. You could see there was some resistance at SPY at 386. It started breaking out above that resistance. Then it formed a floor at 386, forming a bullish candlestick on the daily. Then it started to go higher, right? Well, your new previous resistance was at 390. It sold off to 390. We identified that was a great opportunity for calls, took advantage of it. And then that reacted as a floor, turning this new previous resistance into support. Now it's starting to break out. So it kind of makes sense why it's breaking out. And like I stated in yesterday's video, it was very likely due to gap up and spike because of the bullish candlestick on the daily chart right here, bullish candlestick on the daily chart. And then as you can see, it starts to go higher, right? So that ended up playing out. And the confirmation for that was, in terms of that it was going to keep climbing higher to not buy puts at 398, was because it filled the gap and had a reversal. Now, in terms of where do we see this heading right now? It did just form a little wick, which isn't the most bullish signal, but I have analyzed this candlestick and studied it, and it is saying we can still go a little bit higher, but I don't want to chase calls, man. So this is what I want you to understand, man. We're towards the top of the channel. We are starting to break out, but what the bulls need to do is they need to turn previous resistance into support. So I'm just going to be very blunt about this. Your overall previous resistance, we're going to call it like 398 to 399, that zone right around 399, we could say. That needs to, 398 to 399 needs to hold up. If it holds up, the bulls are going to win. They're going to break it above 402. If they break it above 402, then we go to 405, right? And then that'd be an initial scalping opportunity for puts likely. For the bulls to remain in control, they need to stay above 398. Now, let's discuss the bears. So in terms of the bears, what they need to do is they need to crack under that previous resistance, which is at 398. This closed fairly strong in $400.63 is going to be our new key level. So in terms of what is this level, we are at the literal top of the channel on the SPY. And if you look right here, you can see there was a nasty double top on the SPY and it sold off very hard. But in terms of today, check this out. We had a breakout to 402.65. It pulled back to that previous resistance where it had a nasty sell-off. Well, it's trying to react to support. It's trending up sideways with bullish wicks. As of now, it's bullish. This is what I want you to understand in terms of the SPY. This level right here is make or break. You could say like 399 to 400. This is going to be a major key level, 463. So look, I'll be very blunt about this. Let's just keep it real. In terms of the bulls, for them to be in control for tomorrow, they need to break above $400.63 and turn that into a floor. If they can do that, then they stand a chance to break above the highs for 405. Now, for a super bearish move, all the SPY needs to do in terms of puts, if you see 463 form a roof, form resistance at this closing price, this previous closing price, it's looking bearish, all the bearish confirmations, you're going to want to play puts at 463 if it does that. In terms of the targets, 398.50 to 399, right? Now, Will, what could trigger a bloodbath? A bloodbath can trigger if we crack this 398.50. That's when we could start to see the bloodbath. I would not aim for any more than that. What I want you to understand is we are at make or break on the top end of the channel. So the SPY had a breakout above the channel, and then it pulled back to the previous resistance, which is very normal and very healthy, and then it bounced off the previous resistance, which is bullish. Now, we have previous support right here at $400.44. If previous support reacts as a resistance, that's bearish, and that previous support is aligned with the previous closing price. So if $400.63 is reacting bearish and reacting as a resistance, you're going to want to scalp a put very, very quickly for a drop to 398.50 to 399. Do not be greedy. In terms of what do the bulls have to do for a nasty pullback to not occur, they need to break above 463 and they need to turn that into support. If they can do that, then they're going to try to break out above 402.65. If that breaks out and reacts as a floor, then they run it to 405. That's what you need to understand heading into tomorrow. That is my analysis. If you guys want to take advantage and join Trader Society, now is the best time to be joining. I'm telling you guys, we have people who are getting crazy results before they even join the program. They utilize this information properly, and they're making back multiple costs of what the program actually costs. It's a one-time fee, it's lifetime access. They're making back multiple the costs before they even join the program. There's over 100 hours of education. You get access to the live trading streams where you get to watch me trade live. You get access to the real-time voice commentary on the Discord as well. You get access to the Discord server along with everything within that server and the video lesson library of 100 hours of content. I will teach you exactly the gap trading system. You will learn how to master price action, how to develop and instill discipline to make sure you're only entering the best trades at the best setups. Once you truly make it as a trader, then if you want to, you could start trading just price action with lighter size, right? But you have to start off trading just the best setups at the best prices only. With that being said, if you want to take advantage of this opportunity, the opportunity is now, guys. I'm telling you, people are getting results, and the time to join is now. It's going to be that first link down below in the description. I will see you guys tomorrow live at Open.